Hello, welcome back. I'm going to start something a little different on this video. I've been doing a 1920 Chicago White Sox replay with Strat-O-Matic, and I thought I would show a game of that. So this will be my first experience trying to do Strat-O-Matic on the tabletop. The Detroit Tigers are in town. The Tigers finished in last place in 1920. The Chicago White Sox, they were up top. I believe they came in second or third. It's been a little while since I have visited this replay, so there might be a little bit of a learning curve on the game itself. Detroit comes in at 14-26. They are in 7th place in the replay. The White Sox are 25-16, tied for first. We have had our difficulties with Detroit as they are 3-3 against us. So let's go to the tabletop. So again, tried to get some of the aspects of the computer game into the tabletop here to help us with our experience. So going for the White Sox will be Lefty Williams. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner, he is 8-3 with a 3.97 ERA. Quite a bit of offense in 1920. Not a lot of home runs except for Babe Ruth, but a lot of hits. So quite a few people in the replay are right around 400, including Eddie Collins and Shoeless Joe Jackson for me. So anyway, here we go. Leading off for the Tigers will be Ralph Young. He is hitting .233 in the replay with 8 RBIs. So here we go. So that will be a 2-5, and versus a lefty, he will lead off with a walk. So let me hang on just a second here. I want manual. Input manually. I think I got it set up right. Let me see. Yep. So 2-5. And that will be a walk for Ralph Young. So the advantage of playing Strat-O-Matic is that I have the computer managing against me. So they will be handling the Tigers. And we're going to hold Young. And that brings up Donnie Bush, who is hitting .259, a home run and 13 RBIs. Let's see. Let's bring the corners in for Bush. Good chance he will hit here, or a bunt in 1920. Here's the roll. And that will be a 4-4, and that's going to be a fly out to Happy Felsch in center field. He is a 1-9, so there's a good chance he'll take care of that. Oh, he tried to bunt. So he's going to try to bunt. Weaver has it, and his play is to first base. So that's a successful sacrifice bunt. So I got to keep score here. Again, this is a new experience for me. Obviously, I've never done this one videotape before. So Ralph Young walks. Donnie Bush hits a sacrifice bunt. 5-3, and that'll move Young to second base. So that brings up Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb is off to a rough start. He's only hitting .280. 17 RBIs. He hit .334 in the real life 1920 season. So he will be facing Lefty Williams, lefty on lefty. Let's put the infield back. That is one thing I wish that it would reset it when you went to the next at bat, but it doesn't. So anyway, here's Ty Cobb. And that will be a 4-7. He's a lefty, and that will be another walk. So 4-7. And that will put Ty Cobb on first base, and so they are runners on first and second, and one out. That'll bring up Bobby Veach, rather. I believe Veach is a Hall of Famer. So he is hitting .331, no home runs, 30 RBIs. As you can see there, he had a pretty amazing year at .307, 11 home runs, 113 RBIs. So he is a lefty as well. He'll be facing the lefty Lefty Williams, and that's a 4-10 versus a lefty, and that will be a fly ball out to right field with nobody advancing. So Leibold will flag that down. Yeah, we got this onto the bat. How about that? So that's a fly out. Oh, he is going to try to tag up. So let's see if he makes it. That's a 2. And he makes it to third easily. So Young tags up. That's the second out. There are runners on first and third. We will hold Ty Cobb at first. So with 2 out, runners on first and third, that will bring up Harry Heilman, and I believe he is a Hall of Famer too. He's hitting .358, 2 home runs, 31 RBIs. So here is the pitch to Heilman. He gets a 6-3, and that's going to be X chance for Shoeless Joe Jackson, who is a 113. So 6-3. And let the computer figure that out for us. So we will roll again. So with him being a 1, there won't be any chance of a hit, but his error does have a few opportunities. So that will be an 18. That'll be a fly out, and he hits an 8, which is not an error. So Shoeless Joe Jackson will make the play for the third out of the inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors. There was 2 runners left on. And we will go to the bottom of the first. Detroit, nothing. Chicago coming to bat. So going for the Tigers is Howard Emke. He is, as you can see there, 3-3 with a 2.88 ERA. He will start things off with Eddie Collins, who is hitting .432, a home run and 27 RBIs. He's just having an incredible year. And, of course, Eddie Collins wasn't involved in the Black Sox scandal that anybody knows of. And so he was able to finish his career and end up in the Hall of Fame. So he will face lefty versus the righty Emke. And that's a 5-6, and that's going to be a walk. So that'll be the 33rd walk of the year for Collins. So 5-6. So he is being held on. He still has a 70% chance, and looks like the Tigers are bringing the infield in. I'm going to see if he can get a lead. He's got a 25% chance, and he is not able to get a lead, which means he has a 1-7 chance of stealing, and so we won't attempt that. So Swede Riesberg is up. The corner's in. I'm going to let him hit away. Swede is hitting .288. He has a couple home runs and 24 RBIs. And, of course, he was one of the Black Sox guys. That's a 1-2. And looks like that's going to be a ground ball double play to shortstop, to Bush at short. Yep. So he hits it to Bush, and he will throw to Young. On to Heilman for the double play. So he is out 6-4 for the first out. 6-4-3 double play for Swede, and that's the second out. So that brings up Shoeless Joe Jackson, who is hitting .453, 5 home runs, 33 RBIs. That's amazing that it's June the 5th, and he is hitting .453. He ended up hitting .382, 121 RBIs, 42 doubles, 20 triples, 12 home runs. That man could hit. So here's Shoeless Joe, and he gets a 4-6. And against the lefty, looks like that's going to be a fly out to Veach and left. 4-6. Yep, and he will put it away for out number 3. So nothing going for the White Sox in the first inning. Lefty Williams will be back out for his second inning of work. I'm going to see if I can cut off some of these options here real quick. I don't want to show the flight of the ball. Don't want trivia questions. We'll do no play-by-play. See if we can speed it up here a little bit. So we got Ira Flagstead playing right field today. He is hitting .252, couple homers, 15 RBIs. And that will be a 2-9, and that's going to be a double. So that will be his fourth double of the year. So that's a 2-9. We rolled a 5 on the 20-sided dice, and that's a double. So he will hang out at second base. And that brings up Babe Pinelli, third baseman. He's hitting 174. 4 RBIs. So Williams, we'll see if he can make hay with him. That's a 1-2. That's a ground ball to Eddie Collins at second base. And he will throw on to Shano Collins. We have a whole right side of the infield of Collins. But that will advance Flagstead to second. And so that will be out number 1. Oscar Stanage, I think that's how you pronounce that, comes up. He's the catcher for Detroit. He's hitting .219. With all the offense there is, it's, you hate to know what to do. Let's go ahead and bring the infield in. Stanage is not that great of a hitter. See if we can get him to keep Ira Flagstead at third. So that's a 6-11 versus a righty, and that's going to give Leibold a chance. Leibold is a 3-8. He does have a good arm. So let's hit out to Leibold, and we'll see if he's able to handle it. So it looks like anything under a 6 is going to be a hit. You don't have many errors. So he gets a 15, so he's able to catch it. And that's going to be a 6, but that's going to be a 2-base error. So he's able to get to it, but he's not able to catch it. So a lot of errors in 1920. So the Tigers go up 1-0. Costly error there. So that's an E9. That brings up Howard Emke. He is a 4 hitter there, as you can see. So we'll put the infield back. And I don't think he's going to bunt here. If he does, I'll let him. So that's a 5-8. So if he doesn't bunt, it's going to be a double, looks like. That's one thing about Strat-O-Matic that I really hate, is that, that 50-50, that it just goes right to that. And I mean, that had absolutely nothing to do with who was at the plate. So that's a 5-8. And he rolled a 15 on the 20, so that's going to be a double for Emke. And the Tigers go up 2-0. So that'll be an RBI for Emke. And so with one out, Ralph Young, who walked and got as far as third base in his first plate appearance. Williams, see if he can get an out here. 5-10 versus a righty. And that's going to be a ballpark check. And the 3 is going to be enough to get him. And on ballparks, the runner advances just 1. So that will put runners on the corner. So got a bad roll there. Oop. Oh, I hit 3-10. So let me undo that. So let's try that again. All right, so Ralph Young is up. And we got a... Oh, well, they're going to say that's a wild pitch. Well, let's undo that because he didn't have a wild pitch. So we won't do that. And let's try it again. All right, so he hit a 5, a 10. And that will be a 3. So that puts runners on first and third. So there we go. That's the third hit of the day for the Tigers. So we will hold Young on at first. And that will bring Donnie Bush, who hit a sacrifice bunt in his first at bat. He is an A bunter. Let's bring the corners in. I'm afraid he might try to suicide squeeze. So we got the corners in. Donnie Bush, Lefty Williams off to a rough second inning here. And he gets a 5-7, and looks like that's going to be a strikeout if he doesn't bunt. So he retires Bush on the strikeout. And that will be the first strikeout today for Lefty Williams. Big strikeout there for out number 2. So Ty Cobb. Runners on the corners. Lefty Williams, lefty on lefty here. Ty Cobb is a 1 advantage to the righties. He likes righties a little better. So that's a 6-6, and that's going to be a fly ball out to Happy Felsch. And Williams gets out of the inning. So fly out to Happy Felsch. Out number 3. So we got Tigers scored 2. 1, 2, 3 base hits. There were no errors. I don't believe. Yeah, there was 1 error rather. Sorry. And they left 2 runners on. So we go to the bottom of the second. It is 2-0 Detroit. Yeah, this replay fascinates me because obviously they threw the series. The White Sox did in 1919. And it wasn't till just about the end of the season that they got banned from baseball. So they were in a pennant race in 1920. So at this time, you know, their future was up in the air. And so I'm doing as played lineup. So it'll really stink if same thing happens. If they get in the World Series, it'll stink too because they won't have any of their great players to play the World Series. So that would be crazy, wouldn't it? So Happy Felsch, center fielder, comes up. He's hitting .345, 4 home runs, 39 RBIs. Howard Emke delivered the pitch, and that's a 1-5 versus a righty. He got a 12, so that's going to be the 13th double of the year for Happy Felsch. So, again, a lot of offense this year. He got a 12 on the D20. So Shane O'Collins, he didn't start the year playing, but he has taken over at first base. Chick Gandil, who is he was one of the 8 men out. He quit in the off season, so he didn't play this year. He moved out to California, so maybe he made enough money from the gambling that he was able to retire. I don't know, but he's the only one of the 8 who wasn't playing this year. So Shane O'Collins, we'll see if he can drive in Felsch from second. That's a 5-3, and that's going to be a check on the pitcher, who's a 121. So he's got a decent chance of an error with the 1. He will get to it. So let's roll here and see what happens. So we got a 9, which will be a G2, and he ended up with an 11, which is going to be an error. So Emke's not able to field it, and that will move Happy Felsch to third, and that's an E1. So Shane Collins is being held. He has a 65% chance. Buck Weaver, who is hitting .304, 0 home runs, 34 RBIs. Along with Shoeless Joe Jackson, he's one of the ones that most people feel like that he knew about it, but he wasn't involved in it. And he was even reportedly to have tried to say something, but just nobody would listen to him. But he was banned from baseball nonetheless. So let's see about trying to steal second here with Shane Collins. Let's see. There's 11% chance of him out trying. So we don't have any out, so I'm going to let Buck Weaver swing away. So it looks like the Tigers are going to play the infield back, conceding the run if they can get some outs. That's 6-11, and that's going to be a ground ball to third B. So that's going to be a fielder's choice, so that will retire Collins at second, but Weaver will drive in a run. 6-11. So Pinelli will fire it to Young. And the White Sox are on the board. So Happy Felsch will score from third. 5-4 on Collins for the out. And that will put Buck Weaver at first base. So that's a RBI for Buck Weaver. And the catcher, Ray Schalk, who was not involved in everything as far as everybody knows, and he went on to play for a few years, maybe even a Hall of Famer, I'm not for sure. Probably should have checked that out and see about Weaver stealing second, see what his chances are. 81% chance of getting a lead, 19% of getting thrown out. It's attempted. Let's see what we can get here. So he's going for it. So it looks like he got the lead, 1-13, and he gets a 1. So I think that's an error opportunity to see if Stanaj throws it into center field. And that's a 19, so I think he probably won't, but that will be a stolen base for Buck Weaver. So Buck Weaver hustling there. He's the tying run on second base now. And so Ray Chalk is up. He's hitting .267. They're going to go ahead and pitch to him. He's not, well, he's got a couple weak hitters behind him with the pitcher and Leibold. But, yeah, they're going to let him hit away. So here's Chalk trying to see what he can do. That's a 2-11 versus a righty, and that'll be a ground ball to first, which will advance the runner. So 2-11. So he is out at first. Weaver will make it to third. And there are one away, or two away, rather. All right, so that brings up Leibold. He's hitting .265. Now here's where you, let's see. Lefty Williams is a 3-hitter with no power. He only hits .220. He is better against righties, so I think they're gonna. And well, I don't have that choice. They're actually managing Detroit, so I don't have the choice to intentionally walk him. I keep forgetting I'm used to managing both sides of the aisle. So here's Leibold. See if he can drive in a run. He gets a 3-11, and that'll be a foul out to the catcher if they let him hit, and they do. 3-11, so he fouls out to Stanaj, and that will do it for the White Sox. So foul out to out number 3. They get 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, and they leave a runner on. We go to the top of the third. The Tigers are up 2-1. So Lefty Williams, we'll see if he can keep the Tigers where they are. He will lead off with Bobby Veach, who flew out to Liebold in his first at bat. Still hitting .330 for the year, so that's a 111, and that's going to be a ground out to Collins at first. And that's the first out of the third. Harry Heilman, he flew out to left field in his first at bat. Hitting .356 on the year. That's a 110, and that's going to be a line out to Collins at second. So we got Collinses everywhere. And that'll be the second out. There's one thing I'll say for Strat-O-Matic is the playability is very good. It just feels good and flows nicely. So obviously this is a classic. So Ira Flagstead doubled and scored. That was his fourth double of the campaign. And that's a 410. And that's going to be a ground out to Buck Weaver. So the Tigers go in order in the third. And that will bring us to the bottom of the third. 2-1 Detroit. I said Detroit had a pretty rough year this year, but they've managed to play .500 ball against us. So that'll bring up Lefty Williams, who is a 3-hitter. And that's a 5-7, and he is a righty. And he proceeds to double too. So he figures if Emke can do it, so can he. So he will be the tying run on second base. So pitchers exchanging doubles. So Eddie Collins, they're going to pull the corners in. The Detroit defense is. Eddie Collins walked and was erased on Swede-Riesberg's double play. So they're going to let him. We're going to let him hit away. So again, hitting .432 this year. That's a 310 versus a righty, and he's going to ground ball to the pitcher B. So I don't remember what that does to the runner on third or second. He is going to hold. So Eddie Collins is out 1-3 for the first out. So if the White Sox are able to win this game, they will be in first place by a half game over the Washington Senators, who are off to a good start. So Swede-Riesberg with one out, he grounded into a 6-4-3 double play, his first at bat. That's a 4-5, and that's going to be a fly out to Flagstead. That's a B, so he might have a chance to, let's see, that's a 4-5. He might have a chance to tag up, but I'm probably not going to take it. He has 1-12. He is safe. 13-19. He has to hold, so only a 20 is out, so it's worth a shot. So if we only have an out chance. So here we go. Watch me get a 20, and he gets a 7. So Lefty Williams makes it to third. So he's at third base. Swede-Riesberg flies out to right field for out number 2, and that'll bring up Shoeless Joe Jackson. I love this game. I mean, these replays where, I mean, you got Ty Cobb and Shoeless Joe Jackson and Bobby Veach and Lefty Williams. Again, I just love it. So here's Shoeless Joe Jackson with a runner on third, 2 away. They're not going to intentionally walk him because you got Happy Felsch up after him, who's a very good hitter. That's a 1-8, and so that is a clutch. And obviously, Shoeless Joe is in a clutch, so he will not get the hit with there being 2 outs. That is one good thing about Strat-O-Matic has that I don't remember seeing in any of the other games that I've had, and that's the clutch rating. So that adds some, so he chokes in the clutch. So he pops out to second base. So Shoeless Joe doesn't come through there. And so the pitcher gets a double and is left there. We go to the fourth. Still 2-1, Detroit Tigers. So Lefty Williams, on for his fourth inning of work, will face 7, 8, and 9. Babe Pinelli, he grounded out to second in his first at bat. And that's a 1-7 versus a lefty. Will be a ground ball to Buck Weaver. Out number 1. Oscar Stanage. Again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name correct, but he reached on an error by Eddie Collins, and or not Eddie Collins, Leibold made the error. He ended up scoring, so 6-8, and that's going to be a double. So that'll be the fourth double for Stanage. 6-8. We rolled a 3 on the 20. And that will be a double. So we've got a lot of doubles today. That's the third double by the Tigers. And up now will be Howard Emke, who is a 4. I think we're going to pull the corners in because there's a good chance that he is going to try to bunt, I would think here, even though there is one out. So that's a 3-6. So that's a strikeout if he doesn't. And they're not going to have him hit. I do enjoy having a computer manager. That way you can kind of play your strategy. It's hard to out-strategize yourself. Let's see, 3-6, 4. Oh, I bet you they have, inside of the computer game, they actually have the batter or the pitcher's hitting cards. So I need to look at the computer for that one. I keep forgetting that they're not using the generic ones. So he popped out to third base, or to second, or first base rather. So I remember that next time the pitcher is up. All right, Ralph Young looking for a 2-out clutch hit. Let's see, his clutch, wow, he's not a clutch hitter. On the 2 column, he's got 4 singles that turned pop-outs. So 6-5, that's going to be Swede Rigsberg with an opportunity. He has a 56 E rating, so there's a good chance he's going to make an error. He has a 2 range, so he should get to the ball. Just a 1 or 2 will be a hit. And so he gets a 10, which will get him to the ball. And he has a 13 on the 3 dice. And that is just out of the error range. So Risberg is able to make that play. Nice play by Risberg to retire the Tigers in the 4th. So no runs, another double. Another runner left on. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Detroit leading by 1. Howard Emke, his tire rating is 9, like most people in 1920 are. Those guys pitched till the game was over most of the time. Happy Fausch doubled and scored. That was his 13th double of the 1920 replay. He gets a 2-6, and that's going to be a single. So base hit for Fausch, his 2nd hit of the game. That's to be the 3rd hit of the day for the White Sox. He's being held on. He's got a 65% chance, it says. So let me see what we got here. Oop, that was the wrong button. Let's see. If he tries to steal... Ooh, there's a 28% chance of him out trying. So we'll... Oop, I didn't want to do that. I hit the wrong button. Okay, so Shane O'Collins is up. He reached on an error. So the Tiger infield is looking for the double play. That's a 1-9, and he's going to get a single with 2 stars. So that would advance Happy to third base. And the runner, or the White Sox, have runners on the corner with nobody out. So that's the 4th hit of the day for both clubs. So Collins has a 75% chance of stealing. They have the infield in, so looks like they're going to concede that stolen base. If I try to steal second, I'm gonna let Weaver hit away. So Weaver drove in the only run so far for the White Sox on a fielder's choice, and then stole second base. So the Tigers have the infield in to kind of cut off the run. That's a 5-7, and that's going to be a double, another double for Buck Weaver. So that's the 3rd double of the day for the White Sox as well. Oh, I was looking at the wrong number here. That's a 5-7. A 5-7. Yeah, I looked right. So 5-7 is going to be a double. We got a 1 on the 20. So that's extra bases. Felch scores. We have a 1 to 15 chance of. So I'm going to go ahead and send the lead runner. And I'm going to send the trailing runner. They're going to let the run score and try to throw out the trailing runner. So it looks like 1 to 11. Buck Weaver will be thrown out at third. 19. So he is gunned down. So they get the trailing runner there. So that was a lot of excitement. So Happy Felch scores easily. Shane Collins comes around to score. Buck Weaver doubles in 2, but then is thrown out, trying to stretch it into a triple. Let's see. I can't remember who it was hit to. Into center. So Cobb threw him out. So Cobb nails him at third, 9-5 for the first out. So Buck Weaver with a clutch hit. The White Sox go up 3-2, and Ray Chalk will step to the plate with nobody on and 1 out. So he grounded out to first in his first plate appearance today. So that's a 2-8, and that's going to be a ground ball to Bush at short for out number 2. Nemo Liebold will come up, and he is hitting 263. He fouled out to the catcher his last at bat. That's a 3-7, and that's going to be a fly ball out to Ty Cobb, and that will end the inning. But the White Sox go up by 1 on an exciting double. So they got 2 runs on 3 base hits. There were no errors and nobody left. We go to the top of the 5th, 3-2 Chicago White Sox. So Lefty Williams will come on in the 5th to see if he can hold the lead. He will start off with Donnie Bush, who is 0 for 1, sacrifice and a strikeout, hitting 258 for the year. That's a 5-3. That's going to be a chance for Shane Collins at first. He's a 420, so that doesn't bode well. Not the best defensive player. That is another thing about Strat-O-Matic, that I like the defense a lot better. This is probably one of my favorite defense. I think they do the defense very well, so I do like that about Strat-O-Matic. So that's a 7, so he makes the play, and he gets an 8. 8 plus 2 is 10, but he isn't able to field it cleanly, so that'll be an error. Shane Collins. That will be the second error of the day by the White Sox, the 3rd overall. So that puts Donnie Bush leading off here, and he'll be on first. So hopefully they don't come back to bite us. So we're going to hold Bush at first. That brings up Ty Cobb, who has walked and flied out. Again, only hitting 279 for the year. So he's off to a pretty slow start. And he gets a 1-3, 15. So that's a split. So I think that's going to be an out because he rolled a 15. Actually, they're going to try to hit and run. So they will get from the super advanced chart. Cobb misses the pitch, and the steal attempt is 1-10. He is safe. So here we go. Shock throwing for Bush, and 7. So we're going to throw for the runner, but he is not going to get him. So Bush is in with a stolen base. So they got runner on second, so that'll give Cobb another chance. Which is too bad because we had him out if they hadn't tried to hit and run. 5-8 versus a lefty, and that's going to be yet another double. So that's the 10th double of the year for Cobb. 5-8. He rolled an 11 on the 20. Cobb knocks in his 18th run of the year, and the Tigers have tied it back up. So that error by Collins at first did come back to bite us in the butt. So double RBI for Cobb. So that brings up Bobby Veach. So Williams seeing if he can hold off this rally here, keep the game tight at least. 4-10, and that's going to be a fly ball out to Lee Bolden right. And that's a chance for Cobb to take third. We'll see if he will try. Nope, they're going to hold him at second. So Bobby Veach flies out to the right field for the second time today, and he will be the first out of the inning. Harry Heilman. Might be worth walking him. I'm not for sure. Let's see. Ira Flagstad. He's not nearly what Heilman is. Yeah, I'm going to intentionally walk Heilman. So they will throw 4 balls, and that will put him on first. And Ira Flagstad, we'll see if he can save his pride. So we got runners on first and second. There's one away. And Flagstad has doubled and scored and hit a ground ball to Weaver. So that's a 6-6, and that's going to be a pop out to Risberg. So far it worked. And that'll be the second out. And so Williams will see if he could retire Babe Pinelli, who has grounded out twice. Pinelli looking for a clutch 2-out hit here. He also is not a clutch hitter. He has a few singles that turn to pop outs. So it's a 3-9, and he is going to fly out to Shoeless Joe in left field, and that will retire the side. But not before the Tigers tie it up, thanks to an error and a double by Ty Cobb. So they get 1 run on 1 base hit, 1 error, and they leave 2 runners on. We go to the bottom of the 5th. 3-3. Lefty Williams will start things off here, and again he has his own card, so I'll have to give you the details so you won't be able to see it on the tabletop. So that's a 1-7, and that's going to be a strikeout. 1-7. Now Lefty Williams hit 218 in real life, so he wasn't too bad, but he wasn't able to deliver there. So 1 away. And that brings up Eddie Collins. Eddie Collins has walked and grounded out. Still hitting .429 for the year. That's a 1-2, 18, and he's going to get a single. So first hit of the day for Eddie Collins. We got a 7 on that. So Eddie Collins is on first. He has a good chance of trying to steal. Let's see what his chances are. So he's got a 25 chance of getting a lead, no chance of getting caught, but he can't get the lead, so we will hold him up at first. Swede Risberg will be up. He's 0 for 2. He's hitting to one double play today. Hopefully he won't hit into another one. 4-8, and he's going to hit into third for a fielder's choice, so they will get the lead runner. 4-10. So Pinelli, oop, I may have looked wrong here. It's 4-8. So let's just do something here. I need to make sure to double check my dice before I enter it in. So let that get done. So we will undo the last play. And so we got Swede Risberg. So we got a 4-8, not a 4-10. 4-8. And that should be a fielder's choice. Yep. So Collins is out 5-4 for out number 2. And Risberg will be on first on the fielder's choice. And he's got a 65% chance of stealing. Again, not a lot of home runs this year. Babe Ruth hit a few, of course, but he was about it. Yeah, let's go ahead and we got Shoeless Joe and Happy Felsh. We'll see if we can get a 2-out rally here. So far, Shoeless Joe is flied out and popped out. So he don't want to be shown up here on national television. 1-8 versus a righty. And thankfully he wasn't on second, because that would have been, he would have failed in the clutch again. But because he's on first, he will get that single. So that's a base hit. We got a 1-16 for him to make it to third. So I'm going to go ahead and send him. And they're going to cut him off. They're going to cut off the throw and let him have it. So that puts runners on first and third. So Jackson gets his first hit of the day. Happy Felsh, who's hitting .353. He's leading the club with 39 RBIs. So as far as a clutch, it looks like he doesn't. He has like on 311. He turns a ground ball into a single. So he's kind of a clutch, but not a lot. So looking for a big hit here. He's 2 for 2, scored twice, hit a double. 2-6, and that's going to be a 2-star single. So Happy Felsh comes through big time, gets his third hit of the day, and that will put runners on the corners and give the White Sox the lead. So that's the 8th hit of the day for the White Sox. Risberg scores. Shoeless Joe will make it to third, and Happy Felsh is on with his third base hit. First RBI. That gives him 40 for the season. And that brings on Shano Collins to see if he can do further damage to Mr. Emke. He is 1 for 2. Scored a run. 2-6, and that's going to be a fly ball to center field. So Cobb will, 2-6. I need to put in the right number. So Cobb will grab it, and that will retire the side. But the White Sox go back in the lead. We got 1 run on 3 base hits. No errors, a couple runners left on, and after 5, it is 4-3 Chicago. So Lefty Williams, we'll see if he can hold the lead again. He will start off with Oscar Stenage, who is doubled like everybody has today. Reached on an error. 6-9 versus... hang on a second here. Got my cards backward. 6-9 versus the righty, and that'll be a fly out to Liebold for the first out. Howard Emke, so we'll see if they let him hit. He hit .238 in real life. Yep, they're going to let him hit away. It is 1920 after all. So anything in the 1 column, he's doing pretty good. So that's a 5-7, so that's going to be a strikeout. So Williams gets him. And there are 2 away. For Ralph Young, second baseman extraordinaire. He is 1 for 2 with a walk. Whee, I lost the dice. That's a 4-6, and that will be, see, he's a righty, so that'll be a ground ball to Swede Risberg to end the inning. So Lefty Williams retires them in order and holds on to that 1-run lead. We go to the bottom of the 6th, still 4-3 Chicago White Sox. Good job by Lefty that time, looking to pick up his 9th win of the season. Howard Emke, see if he can keep the lead to 1. He will start off with Buck Weaver, who is hitting the fielder's choice, stole a base, driven in 3 runs, hit a double, thrown out trying to make it to third. 1-8 versus righty, and he will bounce out harmlessly to Bush at shortstop for the first out. Ray Chalk. I think he actually went on to manage for the White Sox, if I remember my baseball history correctly. He's 0 for 2 today. And he gets a 2-8, and that's going to be another ground ball to Bush. And Bush gets his 2nd assist of the inning. Nemo Libold. Great name for a right fielder. He's 0 for 2 today. He gets a 4-6, and that's going to be a fly ball out to Veach in left field. And he will put it away to end the inning. So Emke returns the favor and retires the White Sox in order. And we go to the top of the 7th inning. Chicago still with a 1-run lead. Got a good game going. So Lefty Williams will get 2, 3, and 4 on the Detroit lineup. Donnie Bush is 0 for 2. He did reach on an error, stole a base, and scored. That's a 6-11, and that will give Liebold another chance to see if he can put it away. He's a 3 range. His error rating's not too bad. So anything 6 and under is a hit. And that's a 3, so that's going to be a double. And 7, 5. So thankfully he missed the 2-base error on top of it. He came close. So that's another double. So how about that? This is the game of doubles. Let's see, that'll be the 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the 5th double by the Tigers alone. So they have the tying run on 2nd, and that brings up Ty Cobb, who's looking to get his average up. He's already doubled in 1 run today. And you're not going to walk him to get to Veach and Heilman. So we'll see if Williams can take care of Cobb. So he hits a 2-2, and that will be a fly ball to center field. So good job by Williams there. I don't know if Bush has a chance to advance or not. Nope, he will hold it 2nd. So Ty Cobb flies out harmlessly. And that's the first important out, and that'll bring up Bobby Veach, who's 0 for 3 today. Still hitting .326 on the year. Lefty on lefty here. And that's another 2-2, and that's a hit by pitch plus injury, so we're not doing the injuries. So as I'm doing the as-played lineups in this one. And as usual, I take the liberties to change the White Sox lineup if I want. So that puts another runner on. Hit by pitch. So that puts runners on 1st and 2nd and 1 out for Harry Heilman. He's 0 for 2 with an intentional walk. So this is an important at bat in this game. 5-10, and that's going to be a ballpark chance, but it's 1-7, and we rolled a 20, so that should be a line out if I remember my Strat-O-Matic protocol correctly. So that's a 20. That should be a line out to shortstop or a pop out to shortstop. So The ballpark helps us out there to get that important second out, so he pops out harmlessly to Risberg. And Ira Flagstead, who has doubled and scored in 3 at-bats, is looking for a big clutch hit here. Williams will focus his attention, and that's a 1-9, and he is going to fly out to shoeless Joe Jackson to end the inning. So great job by Williams there. And shoeless puts it away. So they get no runs on a leadoff double. No errors. They left on 2. And it's the 7th inning stretch. White Sox up 4-3. So Howard Emke. We'll start off with Lefty Williams. And again, his card is on the computer screen here. So I'll have to let you know what happened. So that's a 1-7. I think that's the exact one he hit last time. And like last time, he strikes out. So that's the 5th White Sox retired in a row by Emke. Eddie Collins is singled and walked. He gets a 5-4, and that's going to be a catcher's card, and Stenage is a 3-12. So we'll let the computer do the calculating on that. So roll all the dice again, and we get a 20, which is going to help them quite a bit, and we get a 4, so that's right in the middle. So he didn't make an error. So that's a dribble to the catcher, and Stenage is out behind the plate, and he fires to first to retire the speedy Eddie Collins. So that's 2 away. Swede Risberg is 0 for 3. He did reach on a fielder's choice and score. Swede was one of the guys who was banned from baseball at the end of the season. So that's a 1-7, and he is going to go down swinging for just the 17th time this year. And so for the 2nd inning in a row, Emke retires the White Sox in order. We go to the top of the 8th inning, 4-3. The White Sox still leading. So Lefty Williams will do business with Babe Pinelli, the Detroit third baseman. They got 7, 8, and 9 due up. Pinelli is 0 for 3. He gets a 5-8, and that's going to be bad things. Let's see, he is a righty, so that's going to be a triple. So that's not good. So he's going to put the tying run on third. 5-8. That'll be the first triple for Pinelli of the year. He had 3 in the real campaign. A 154 hitter. Boy, you just hate that. All these guys hitting 300, and you get a 229 hitter, and he triples. Okay, so big triple for the Tigers. So that brings up Oscar Stenage. Oscar Stenage. So we're going to bring the infield in at this point in the game. See if we can cut off that run. Stenage has doubled like everybody today and reached on an error. So here we go, Lefty Williams. That's a 1-6, and that's going to be a base hit. So he's going to tie it up. And it is 4-4. 13. So Whit Williams not able to hang on to the lead. That's a single and an RBI for Oscar. And they're not going to hold him on at first, as he is not much to hold on. And we will bring in the corners with the pitcher up, assuming they let him hit. Again, he's hit 238, so he can hit if he needs to. So they bring in Chick Shorten to pinch run, oddly enough. So we'll try again. Okay, so we got a 3-8, and that's going to be a foul out to the third baseman, so we get that out. So Emke fouls out. out number one. And that'll give us Ralph Young. So put our infield back. So Ralph Young with one out. He is 1 for 3 with a walk. He gets a 2-2, and that's going to be a fielder's choice to Eddie Collins at second base. So they're not able to get the double play, but they do get the lead runner. So he is out 4-6. And he hits a fielder's choice. So we will hold him on at first. And that will bring up Donnie Bush. So they got 2 outs, runners on first. Bush is doubled like everybody else today and reached on an error, stole a base, scored, had a sacrifice bunt. Oh, that's 5-8. That's not good. And he is a righty, so that's going to be another triple. So Lefty Williams was 22-14. He did have a 3.91 ERA, so hopefully the White Sox will be able to pick him up here. So that's a 5-8, and we rolled a 3 on the 20-sided die, so another triple, second triple of the inning. And so Ralph Young scores all the way from first, and that's a triple for Donnie Bush and an RBI. And the Tigers are up 5-4. So 2 away for Ty Cobb. Lefty Williams trying to get him out. Clutch situation here. Looks like he has a 3-8 that turns into a single. So Cobb is a clutch hitter. And he gets a 3-6, and he will drive in the run. So that puts the Tigers up by 2. So Ty Cobb drives in his second run of the day, and it is now 6-4, Detroit. That's their 10th base hit of the year of the game. We will hold on Cobb at first, and that brings up Bobby Veach. He is 0 for 3, hit by a pitch. 1-5, and he will ground out to second base to finally end the inning. So 3 runs for the Tigers. So they get 3 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4 base hits. There were no errors, 1 runner left on, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. Tigers now up 6-4. So we got 3, 4, and 5 due up. Howard Emke, seeing if he can hold on to the Tiger lead better than Lefty Williams did with the White Sox lead. Shoeless Joe is 1 for 3 today, so he is looking to get things going. 6-8, and he's going to draw a walk. So we'll take that to get things started. That's the second walk given up today by our friend Howard Emke. So Shoeless Joe is a good chance to steal, but his run's not as important, so I'm going to let Felsch go ahead and hit away. I don't want to risk him getting thrown out. And Felsch is 3 for 3 with an RBI, 2 runs scored. He gets a 4-5, and that's going to be a fly ball out to Flagstead and right. So he will put it away. And there's 1 out here in the Chicago 8th. Shane Collins is 1 for 3 with a run scored. That's a 1-9, and that's going to be a 2-star single. So that will put runners on first and third with 1 out. So the tying run is on first base. Collins is, let's see what his stealing base. If he steals second, he's got an 11 chance of getting, because he's the tying run. He's got a 1-15 if he gets a lead. And that would take us out of the double play, which would end the inning. I'm going to go ahead and tempt it. So he's trying to run. Here is the roll. 5, and he will steal it. So Collins with a big stolen base of second base. So that puts the tying run on second. And Buck Weaver, we'll see if he can deliver. So Emke, they're playing the infield back, oddly enough. I guess they're willing to give up the 1 run. So Buck Weaver is doubled like everybody else today, driven in 3 runs. So here we go, big at bat here. That's a 111, and he's going to pop out harmlessly to Bush at shortstop. So Weaver doesn't deliver. Big pop out for Emke. That's out number 2, and it's up to Ray Schalk, who might get an intentional walk here. He's 0 for 3 today, however. See if he's able to pick up for Buck Weaver. That's a 4-5, and if they don't intentionally walk him, that'll be a fly out. Nope, they're not going to. So that's a fly out to Flagstead and right. And Emke does a good job of holding on to the Detroit lead. So big opportunity blown by the White Sox. They get no runs on 1 base hit, no errors. Leave on 2. And we go to the top of the 9th. It is 6-4 Detroit. So Lefty Williams will come on and see if he can at least keep the lead at 2. Harry Heilman is 0 for 3 and with an intentional walk so far. 2-10 versus a righty. Because it's 4, 5, and 6, I always put the batters up top when I remember. 2-10, and that's going to be a ground ball back to the pitcher. So Lefty Williams will hand it on to Collins, and that is the first out of the Detroit 9th. Ira Flagstead is doubled in 4 at-bats and scored a run. 5-10, and that's going to be ballpark, and we rolled a 1, so he is going to get a hit. So the chances were good that he wouldn't, but with that 1, he does. So that's the 2nd hit of the day for Flagstead. That brings up Babe Pinelli, who led off last inning with a triple and scored. And we're not going to hold Flagstead. He's only got a 45% chance, so hopefully I'm going to try to keep the outs here. That's a 5-10, and once again, 1-7, and he gets a 2. So not getting the rolls this game. So that's a 10, and that will put runners on 1st and 2nd. That will be the 12th hit of the game for the Tigers, who just beat up on us. Nobody else can lose to them, but we do a good job at it. And this will, if we end up losing this game, we'll be 3-4 against them. Oscar Stenage, who is hitting 174 in the replay, but he's hitting for 500 today. Oh, that's actually, they took him out for a pinch runner, didn't they? I forgot about that. So we actually have Larry Woodall in, don't we? Larry, I don't know if I have a card for him. So he's catching. See if I got a card for Larry Woodall. Larry. Yes, I do have a card for Larry Woodall. So Larry Woodall will take his first at bat of the day. And that's a 3-6, and he's going to hit into looks like a 6-4-3 double play. 3-6. Grounded out to short, 6-4-3. All right. So he is out 6-4 for the 2nd out. 6-4-3. Double play for out number 3. And they get no runs on 2 hits, and they leave on 1, and we will go to the bottom of the 9th. The White Sox down by 2. And Howard Emke, we'll see if he can seal the deal. So we got Liebold up first. Liebold is 0 for 3 today. So we'll see if he can get things going here for the White Sox. That's a 5-6, and that will be a walk. So we'll take that. That's the third walk today by Emke. We will go to our bench for Lefty Williams. So it's been a while since I've done this, so let's see. We are the home team. On the bench, we got Murphy, who's a good hitter. Falk, who's not bad, but he didn't play much. So we'll put in Eddie Murphy. So Eddie Murphy, lefty, will come in to see what he can do. He is hitting .353 with 11 RBIs in the replay. He hit .339 and 118 bats in real life. See what he's able to do here. They're holding on Leibold, but I'm not going to try to steal because I don't want him thrown out. So 3-12 versus a righty, and he lines out to first base to the max. So there you go. So he hits it hard right at Ellison at first, and that will be 3 unassisted double play. So how about that? That sucks. Line out 3 to double play. He was the first out. He's out 3 unassisted for the second out. And it's up to Eddie Collins. So Emke catches a break there. Eddie Collins is 1 for 3. He's got his average at .430 still. And that's a 4-8 versus the lefty. And that will be a fly ball to center field. And Ty Cobb will catch it to end the game. So let's switch back here to our computer screen. It's not going to let me. So anyway, the White Sox go down to 25-17, and we are 3-4 versus the last place Detroit Tigers. 6 runs, 12 hits, 1 error for Detroit. 4 runs, 9, 2 errors for the White Sox. That will make Lefty Williams, he falls to 8-4. And so there, hope you enjoyed that. A little Strat-O-Matic 1920 Chicago White Sox action. I would have liked to win, but got to see some great players. Ty Cobb, Shoeless Joe Jackson, Buck Weaver, some Eddie Collins, Harry Heilman, Bobby Veach. So some big name players. So I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.